All right, let's just dive right into this. There's this staggering statistic from recent workplace studies that completely blew my mind. 90%, yeah, 90% of top performers rank remarkably high in emotional intelligence. Welcome to This Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining us today because we're going to explore the fascinating psychology behind what actually drives true success in both life and work. For decades, right, the professional world basically relied on a single metric to predict who'd rise to the top and who'd, well, struggle. But as we dig into the research today, we're going to uncover why emotional intelligence, or EQ, is actually far more powerful than IQ. It's honestly a total game changer of a perspective, and it might just change how you view your very own potential.
So I want you to consider this core concept. The smartest people aren't always the most successful. It completely flips the traditional view of raw intellect that, let's face it, we've all been taught since kindergarten. I mean, we all know someone who is undeniably brilliant, right? Someone who can literally solve complex equations in their head or memorize massive amounts of data, yet they somehow always seem to struggle to advance in their career or build lasting partnerships. Actually, the research shows that people with average IQs outperform those with the highest IQs 70% of the time. Think about that. If raw brain power was the absolute sole key to achievement, the people with the highest IQs would automatically be running the entire world. But the data tells us that is simply not the case.
Which naturally leads us to one profoundly simple question. Why? Why on earth doesn't pure intelligence equal ultimate success? That one single word is the central mystery we are unpacking today. Here's the roadmap for how we'll break it all down. First, we'll look at IQ versus emotional intelligence. Second, we'll dive into the power of self-awareness. Third, we'll explore empathy and building relationships. And finally, number 4, the ultimate pinnacle, leadership. Kicking things off with Section 1, IQ versus emotional intelligence. Let's compare these two measures of capability. So think of IQ as your raw cognitive processing power. It's your ability to learn, reason logically, and solve those tough analytical problems. EQ, on the other hand, is the highly nuanced ability to handle human emotions, both your own and the emotions of everyone around you. Basically, while IQ is all about processing data, EQ is about processing the human experience. And let's be real, out in the real world, problems are rarely just isolated data points sitting on a spreadsheet. They almost always involve interacting with complex, highly unpredictable human beings. And that right there, that is exactly why EQ becomes the absolute decisive factor in their long-term success. Moving on to Section 2, the power of self-awareness. This is the internal foundation of EQ. So what is it? Well, self-awareness is the foundational psychological ability to recognize and truly understand your own emotions. Listen, you cannot possibly begin to understand or manage the people around you if you haven't first mastered your own internal emotional state. It's literally like trying to fly a massive commercial jet without knowing how to read a single dial in your own cockpit. When you're deeply self-aware, you recognize your specific stress triggers, you understand your inherent biases, and you can clearly see exactly how your fluctuating moods are impacting your daily performance. This internal clarity, it is the non-negotiable starting block for absolutely all external success. Now for Section 3, empathy and building relationships. This is where we start connecting with the external world. All right, empathy. By definition, this is the capability to recognize, understand, and actually share the emotions of others. If self-awareness is your cockpit, well, empathy is your radar. It's accurately reading the environment and the constantly changing weather patterns around you. Empathy acts as this crucial bridge between our internal self-awareness and the people we interact with every single day. And I want to be super clear here, it is far more than just being nice. It's a highly attuned psychological capability that allows you to accurately read a room, pick up on some unstated frustration a colleague might be hiding, and genuinely connect with someone else's reality. Because at the end of the day, relationships are built on empathy. Those strong interpersonal bridges and successful collaborative partnerships we all want, they are the direct, tangible result of applied empathy. You just simply cannot build trust, loyalty, or authentic connection through raw IQ alone. You can't logic someone into feeling understood. It doesn't work. Relationships, which are really the ultimate currency of success in business and in life, they absolutely require the emotional resonance that only true empathy can provide. Which brings us to Section 4, the ultimate pinnacle, leadership. Let's look at stacking these skills for maximum impact. Effective leadership is constructed step by step. You don't just magically jump straight to the top rung. Step 1, it starts with self-awareness, deeply knowing yourself. That solid footing naturally enables Step 2, empathy,
which lets you deeply understand others. Empathy then allows you to move to step 3, building incredibly strong relationships. And only when you've successfully navigated those foundational stages can you truly achieve step 4, dynamic leadership. True leadership isn't about having the absolute highest IQ in the room. No way. It's about mastering this exact psychological sequence so you can effectively guide, inspire, and elevate the people around you.
So, to pull this whole shebang together for you, bullet 1, IQ is just your baseline. It's what gets you onto the playing field. But bullet 2, it's EQ that actually drives true success. Bullet 3, remember, it all starts internally with self-awareness. Bullet 4, that projects outward through empathy to build your relationships. And finally, bullet 5, these pillars ultimately create real leadership. It's a beautifully logical flow, honestly, and it proves exactly why emotional capability vastly outpaces raw intellect when it comes to real-world achievement. So, I want to leave you with this final thought. Your IQ got you in the door, but is your EQ holding you back? Think about your own journey for a second. Your technical skills, your raw intelligence, that likely got you the job or started your career. But is a lack of EQ holding you back from going even further? Take a moment today to honestly reflect on your own emotional intelligence, because as we've seen throughout this explainer, that is where your true power actually lies. Keep exploring, keep growing, and I'll see you next time.